You know that you know to them. But you real, but you're getting yay. You're young president here, but by law, Biro Gamarta. You can't tell coming, but one you know a kid, we own the word of them. We are ruling number one yay. Kalkia, the king of Tongo, Cueibet Panarol Gayual, Urumbe, Guban Yorgula, Lord Yang Pani, the chair, and no man named Gutidian Panalira, Yagugong, Rai Kadormanyang, Panalo and the Morin, Matuan, Kolatongo Gayoke, Kolaben, Kadiare, Yagamulatum, Payadiar, Dorko by and Yamnon Naunuga, Lobby, where I are, who go to me, Fauke, Mariang, by your Makurit, Yanuki, Jupona, Georgie, Gan, Yamacanica, me will Lankin, Gangelo, and Tarago, Jaitar, Lenatung, a Juba, made by Jola, Tinkon along, Miriam, Mangar, my job, Tinakuma, young Copan, Maria, Joe. Tembo when a corner but them before I come and I think your work, mind them a bill that ride my gang. Kadidang I queer my young Kagayana loving your more math to yar, my daughter by not white, young Panabarak, Pajaga, poor, when you put them, Tingaja guy, Payan Mopanya, Lintiana, the poor Malanga, you're the queer door, whom I dare, yellow wool my joke. You know to them, but you real, but you're getting yay. You're young president here, but by law, Biro Gamarta. You can't the dull coming, but one you know a kid, we young, no where of them. We are ruling number one yay. Kalkia, the king of Tongo, Cueibet Panarol Gayual, Urumbe, Guban Yorgula, Lord Yang Pani, the chair, and no man named Gutidian Panalira, Yagugong.
Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Abraham Medin Nyomngek. My guest in the studio this evening and this morning is Honorable Juol Nhomngek. Juol Nhomngek is one of the SPLI-IO MPs, representative of Cueibet. Last week we did have him a show with the member. He's supposed to be on
now I'm waiting for to on one and I raise it as a point of information and then I see
so we are live. Yeah, we are live now with the Honorable Juol Nhomngek in Juba. So last week he was supposed to be in the show, but due to the network, he didn't attend the show. But today we managed to do the show. So for now, Honorable Juol Nhomngek, welcome to Lagos State Media again. Thank you also to make sure that people on the background, tell them that to be quiet so that the echo sound. So before we go to our discussion, Honorable Juol Nhomngek, I would like you to introduce yourself. Who is Juol Nhomngek? Fadal, welcome.
Okay, thank you, Lagos State Media. I'm grateful for you being patient. I've been searching for me for almost a week, looking for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what have you got from me. You have a lot of interest. Maybe I may disappoint you, but I will try my best. So,
yeah,
as you have said, I'm Honorable Juol Nhomngek. I'm a member of the SPLM-IO Parliamentary Caucus in the National Parliament. I represent Cueibet County and on the ticket of the SPLM-IO. I'm a lawyer by profession. I finished in Makerere University. I've been in the parliament trying to run up and down, chasing after the speaker and the speaker chasing after me. And now we are still in that on that no peace, no war. So we are in the
And then
parliament together.
I was waiting for you
Our
for
our
that.
our interest is to see that the parliament. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Pardon?
Yeah, yeah. Proceed ahead. Proceed ahead.
Okay, I was saying I've already introduced myself. I'm Honorable Juol Nhomngek, member of the SPLM-IO, representing Cueibet County in Lagos State. Cueibet is one of
Thank
the
you.
8 counties in Lagos State, and I was appointed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank
as
you.
I
Yeah.
have already said it, I,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Go ahead. Go
yes.
ahead.
You
You
want
can.
me to continue?
Yeah. Continue.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Okay. I was introducing myself, and because of network, we have not been in contact for the last 1 week. You have been trying to make me express my views to the viewers on this beautiful website, which is attracting many many citizens and all over the world, plus other people who are interested, but it was not possible. But today is possible. I will be able to talk. And as I've already said, I'm a member of SPLM-IO. I came to the parliament on the ticket of the SPLM-IO representing the county called Cueibet, a great county, one of the 8 counties in Lagos State. So I will be able to talk today on behalf of these people and on behalf of South Sudanese. And to talk honestly, I will not talk much about expressing my interest as a member of political party. I will talk on national issues so that the citizens are able to see. Because when I'm a member of political party and I will do good things, citizens will be able to take my party now, not because of what I say, but what I do. So I will speak today honestly, telling them what the position is and to be able to understand. Even if they disagree with me, I have to tell the truth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Juol Nhomngek. And before we start our discussion, let me play the video clip. The video clip that
Okay. I
when
think
the
President was honest enough. He has pointed out some of the issues, like issues of youth employment. This has been where my interest has been. The youth employment in this country is a major issue that the government must pay attention to. And as a member of SPLM-IO, this is one of the reasons why I came to the opposition. I need the citizens of the country to benefit from the operation of the government. That was one of the issues which the president considered in his speech, the youth employment. Second, the issue of investment. The president did it, but one issue the president did not put into account was the issue of accountability, also corruption. Corruption in the country is everywhere. Why don't we talk about it and control it? It's everywhere up to the local government level. And we must fight it. If it means taking people to prosecute them in court, we must prosecute them. We need to activate the anti-corruption body, including coming up with anti-corruption court to prosecute everybody who is corrupt. So the president did not concentrate much on issue of accountability. Without accountability, the investment itself cannot go on. That is what I was expecting. Second, the last part of the president, because president has outlined several issues which I agree with him. But how to implement these issues needs a practical approach. Needs needs a practical approach. And then finally, on the speech of the president, I have seen the last part is mentioning free, equitable, and fair elections. This is where my interest was. I agree with the president that we need transition to democratic system where citizens are able to elect. But our system currently cannot allow it. You have seen the greatest threat to our democratic system is the issue of civic and political space. You have seen a member of the SPLM himself, this Callisto, the former mayor of Juba City. This former official was arrested because he has spoken on issues affecting his own people, issues of land grabbing. When are we going to talk about them? And the party like SPLM-IG does not allow their own members even to speak within the party. So the members like The former mayor, who is now under a house arrest somewhere, was arrested because he spoke against the ills of land grabbing. And this one, we are standing with him. We should not allow our citizens to be robbed. We did not liberate the citizens in the country to be brought here and to be robbed. We must protect their rights.
Bol Joseph, representing Juol.
Okay. There you have it, Honorable Juol Nhomngek. Now let's pick up where you left off. So let's talk about the opening of Parliament last week. So what is so start where you left off from there. Can you give us what is your take on what you the speech, especially let's start about the president's speech in Parliament. Can you give us your intake on that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. As you have already stated, and my name is on the screen, I'm Honorable Juol Nhomngek. The purpose of mentioning our names is for accountability, so that when we speak, if something good is said, or we have said something good, you give it to my party. If it is something which people don't agree, take it as my views. That is how leadership works. So last time I was in the hall. There is a version of Freedom Hall that has been constructed in the National Parliament. We have left the former Freedom Hall. The president came, he gave the speech. I was listening keenly. The president started his speech with that we have a national agenda, but he did not clearly explain what is that national agenda. And then after that, he went on with the challenges which are facing the government under the agreement. But he did not explain those challenges and how to tackle those challenges in order to come to the correct solution to these challenges. Yet the challenges, most of them are under our control. It is only the fact that if we are able to sacrifice our interests to come up with the public interest, we will be able to control them. But we are not able. We are trying to balance our interests against the public interest. Sometimes our interests can prevail. So the president tried to explain the challenges, and then he went on and say the current agreement was not implemented because of those challenges. And some of those challenges are global in nature. That is what he said. The president went on to say we came up with a roadmap, and in roadmap we agreed, and there are some, and we have implemented. We have made some progress in implementing the roadmap, but he didn't say that we have completed. So the roadmap has not finished. And then he went on to go on with his agenda, what he has been saying, that we have done something, we have made some roads, like that is when he mentioned Tarakeka Juba Road, which is about some, I think, 20 kilometers, and he did not talk about Barakaza Road. And then he talked of Juba Jongule Road. He talked about Juba Natapal, that road to Torit. He talked about it, but he didn't. He was trying to explain actually the success, the achievements he made under his government. Because our problem is that we talk of our achievements, but the citizens are not seeing those achievements. That is the problem. We're always ending up defending our own achievements, but the citizens are not appreciating it, which means we have problems somewhere. If we are serving the citizens themselves will be the one to talk about these achievements. So he was trying to explain those, and then he came up with some solution, like the issue of high prices in the market. He clearly stated that has now ordered, and he spent some money so that the food items will be imported and to be sold at a subsidized price. But the problem with that is that there is no control over who is selling them, and what about the accountability attached to them in case somebody will misappropriate such resources? How will we deal with that person? Is not there, and that is where that policy will never work. And we have been saying that for us to control this economic crisis, we must adopt two approaches. We must increase production, and at the current moment, instead of selling the dollars in the market, we must import goods from different countries to bring them because it was cheaper in Sudan. But now Sudan is in crisis, so we are not able to import goods from Sudan. So our only hope is Kenya and Uganda. That is where our hope is. But now we don't have even control. We are members of East African community, but we are not even sure. We are not transparent. How do we deal in the borders? The issues of taxation are not clear. So all this, he was saying it, but this is the point we have been talking about. Up to now, the economic conditions have reached the worst stage where rate of dollar is increasing every time. So the president tries to explain the solution to this, but up to now, we are not seeing the solution. And then the president came in with the issue of agriculture. He was telling the sitting that we shall activate the former agricultural schemes. But this was even in 2021 when he was giving his speech, he gave those policy approach to agricultural production, mentioning the same schemes. But up to now, we have not seen the outcome because the problem we see that we make the speeches to impress the public, but we don't have mechanism to deal with these speeches, how to implement them. Because what we know, the presidential speech or any speech given by the president, like national address, address to the nation and others, the policy is the indication of government policy, and we implement to make sure that the government policy is implemented. Because the president's speech is not a government policy, but is a direction where the government is going. That is why we always look at it as a policy. But all these have been mentioned year in and out, but there is no implementation because the parliament does not have oversight functions over the executive. It is the executive now instead are overseeing or overlooking the parliament to direct them on what to do instead of parliament to be the one to direct the executive. Simply because the members of parliament are appointed. If you talk, you'll be revoked. And this is what have been tried on me, that I should be revoked. But since the chairman, Dr. Yak, sometimes cannot accept such issues, he said he will not revoke me.
Okay, guys, we are having a network issues over there.
Unless
Yeah.
you confirm that this person is not. Okay, sorry, somebody was calling on telephone and interrupted. So we have these challenges, and this is why the speech of the president is not able to be implemented as the president wanted it to be implemented. So all this, when you look at the speech of the president, he talk of agricultural schemes, which were there already before independence of South Sudan, but up to now they are not implemented. And then President, almost when he was approaching the last part of his speech, he mentioned the youth unemployment. He said this is a threat. But the problem is that even the agreement itself is talking of the youth employment, about issues of employment. But the president is not able to come out with the methods how to employ youth. He was trying to come up with the issue of investment. But I said clearly that the investors will only come to the country when there is accountability, when there is transparency, when the corruption is less at a minimum level. That is when the investment will go on, because investors cannot invest in a very expensive place where you have to bribe everybody in order to get the business award or to be considered in businesses. Because in South Sudan, there is no control. This is what you need to know. The president is trying and the executive are trying, but it's hard for them to control because there is a group within the system. As Leo was talking about it, this group are more stronger than the government. And since they are more stronger than the government, they can even dismiss the government officials themselves, and they are the one appointing and dismissing those who are not serving their interests. These people, since they are in the government, the investment cannot go on unless we control these people and make sure there is the rule of law, because every system works when there is the rule of law. Without the rule of law, we cannot work. Like now, we don't work according to the laws. All the institutions, including the parliament where I am, people are not working according to the law. And this has been my problem with the leadership of the assembly. I have been telling them that we must follow the law. And when we follow the law, we'll be able to implement the laws and we serve the citizens in the country, because laws are telling us what to do. Without us following the law and we do our own personal interest, we'll never implement the law. We will be setting our own priorities contrary to the law. So that is the problem. And finally, President came to the election, but he clearly mentioned that even if we are going to the election at the end of this year in December, there must be free, credible, and fair elections, which must be peaceful. This is what the president said. And I agree with him. We need election to go on, but we must have election, as we have been saying. The election must go on only when you have a permanent constitution to tell us what kind of government do we form, what electoral system do we have, what kind of system, government system, is it federalism or another system? So the constitution will be the one to define. And then we must have census. Census, like when you talk of the 2010 elections, it was done badly. Some areas were disadvantaged. Like Cueibet County, let's talk where I am representing. Cueibet County, I was there in 2010 during that election, and I was there during the census. I was the field supervisor. The counting was not done well. And the disadvantage was that people were told to be counted where they were sleeping. Majority of the people were counted in East Africa, were counted in Rumbek Center. That is why Rumbek Center had a higher population, because majority of the people in 8 counties were found in Rumbek Center. They were not told to go back to their countries, like what was done during the time of Jesus. When Jesus was being born, he was born on the road when they were going to their home to be counted, because census is attached to resources. If you need to have enough resources in a given area, you must identify people, because resources are always allocated according to the population data. So we must know. At the same time, if we are to represent the counties geographically in national level, we must use it. We must use the population data to determine the constituencies according to the population. Like in Lake State, because I'm coming from there, let's talk of Ulu County. Ulu County has has 40,000 people, which is about 40,000 people. It's not 50,000, but it's within 40,000 people. It's being represented by one national MP at the National Assembly where I am. And Cueibet County has 117,000 people being represented by one national MP. This one is what we call disproportionate representation, which is electoral injustice. Our agreement itself is saying that we must go back to lean government where we use the population data. This one, when we count the people, we will be able to determine the total population. Let's say Cueibet County has 200,000 if we count it one by one. And then Ulu County has 100,000, and we say that a county with 100,000 will be represented by one MP. So we'll go to the whole Lake State and whole South Sudan and say, everywhere where there is 100,000 must be represented by one MP. At that point, we'll have equal voting rights. That is why the census is very important. Census is important. One, it will guide us on how to allocate resources, equal and equitable allocation of resources. Two, it will be able to guide us on how number of MPs will come in a given area. Three, will be able to help us to demarcate the geographical boundaries and and local constituencies. It will help us. So the population census is very important for equal development of the country. And then number three, we need to have security, which is above all. Now it is only Juba which is peaceful, and also we are fearing sometimes. But when you go to those states, like we have had recently, when these people from Unity State were coming to attack the people of Lakes and took cows, and people of Lakes came in and supported each other to recover those cows. You have had Luanjang coming to Lagos State, and those of Lagos State are going to Luanjang, Tony East. They are going to Warab from Cueibet, and those of Warab are coming to Cueibet. You have had
Okay, so it's network.
the issue of area. Yes, somebody was calling. You have Ibora demonstrative area have problem with Jonglei State. Nuelo plus Boer people or this group Twitch and Boer plus Duk. They have problem with the Murle. These people, you need peace. You need peace also in Unity State, that side of Lair and Mayom. You need peace. You need peace everywhere, even the cattle keepers. And these issues and these people from Western Equatoria have problem with cattle keepers in Lagos State and Aborolo are moving everywhere. So there is no peace completely where you can say you want to hold a free and fair election. In the country here, you cannot go. Like last time when President was giving his speech in Medan Simba, there was one of heroes who passed on and was going to be buried in his area. And then the chairman, Dr. Yak, asked President whether he will accompany the body. The president said clearly that he would not go. What if he is going to be killed? Now, how can you talk of election and the president is not able to move to those areas? You get areas where you cannot get a blue clothes, which is the symbol of SPLM-IO, and you cannot get the red T-shirt, which is a symbol of SPLM-IG. How can you hold election under such condition? We must have a condition which are conducive. Everybody must be able to participate freely. And then the civic space. You saw I was talking in that citizens are not able to talk freely about the parties. You are forced now to support the given party, even if you don't have interest, because of fear of being stigmatized. People are looking at you like, let's say in Barakazal, when you come out to support SPLM-IO, what will happen? People will look at you as if you are a betrayal, but they don't understand that SPLM-IO and SPLM-IG are parties. After all, the people who are leading them were the former members of the SPLA. They have the same values, but we are using this ignorance of the public to make sure we mobilize them to support a particular party, even if they don't have interest. And these parties like SPLM-IG is fearing free contest. So we need civic space to be free, where we are able to speak freely, where we are able to criticize each other. We have been hearing those who are defecting that the SPLM-IO is promoting radicalism, is radicalizing the youth. It's not radicalizing. SPLM-IO is giving them a platform where they are able to speak and criticize those things that the SPLM-IG does not allow. I have been talking of SPLM-IG here not because I'm targeting them, but because it's the party with the power. It is in control of resources. It is in control of security forces. The SPLM-IO is trying to say that let's integrate the security forces that are in cantonment side to the national security, to have one security sector. But they are not able to accept it because they wanted to use confusion to come into the power. But we cannot accept. We cannot go into such elections unless the election is free and fair so that citizens have opportunities. And then finally, we need the refugees to come. There are many grounds which we need to be implemented so that we have free and fair election. But we need refugee. Like outside South Sudan now, we have more than 2 million refugees from South Sudan, and they are not able to come because they are fearing. Last week, I met with Undersecretary of, uh, of Relief and Rehabilitation Commission. The Undersecretary, they brought almost 200 refugees from Sudan who are South Sudanese. When they reach Rang, they said they would not go to Juba or anywhere in South Sudan because South Sudan is more dangerous than Sudan. They cannot go because security in Sudan is between the security forces. And if you are trapped, then you will be trapped between these security forces, but they don't target civilian. But in South Sudan, you don't know who is killing you. So you are a target. Everything is target, including the animals. And that is why you had Honorable Mokwin last time warning people that you don't kill animals, that it is a crime to kill animals. But I was telling Makwe, now if you don't offer people what to eat, they will resort into killing animal in order to survive, because it is dangerous for you to die of hunger than killing animal and be jailed. And that is my position. I support them. Unless the government is able to offer them food, then they are free to do anything to survive, as long as they don't kill each other, as long as they don't commit crime. It is not a crime for you to go and kill animal in the bush compared to a crime of you going to steal cows and kill them. So I was talking of this election must be free and fair, and also we must have reforms. When you are in this country, you will see corruption is everywhere, as I was saying. It's everywhere. Even the parliament itself, which is an oversight body that is dealing with supervising the executive, is not working. The corruption is there. You talk of state, the governors are doing their own things. They are not being supervised at national level. They are as if it is a federal system. But at the same time, the citizens on the ground do not have power to hold the governors accountable, because it is the president who appoints them. So the governors are just there freely doing their own things. It is only somebody with the morals that is able to follow the system. Otherwise, governors are doing their own thing completely, and the citizens are suffering. Like the state in which I am coming from, Rin is good in security, but some other issues people are complaining. But when you go to him, he will not listen to you. So what are we doing? Rin has done very well, has protected the lives of the people. But we have been saying let him also extend to make sure that there is good governance. Corruption is less. If those commissioners are corrupt, he has to deal with them. We don't cooperate with anybody. If a member of IO is corrupt, let him punish and we shall support him, because we have not appointed anybody to be corrupt. But the governor should listen to us. We are not saying he should be removed. We are saying that let him do right thing. If he is not doing right thing, then he has to leave, because we don't support people when they are not doing right things. I'm from IO, and my interest is that we need our party to be strong, but we have to protect the interests of the citizens. And since we are in one government, that is why we stand with RIN. And if he's not doing right things to even hold our leaders accountable, then all of them deserve not to be in the state to protect the interests of the citizen. Because IO is for reform. And that is why we're standing with him, so that the citizen would see the peace that they want. After seeing the peace, we must have development in the state. In the same way, Unity State must have it. Upper Nile must have it. Jonglei must have it. Western Equatoria must have the same peace. Warab must have it, but Warab is even the worst. And where the president is coming, you had last time when people were even killing themselves in Kwajuk, in the capital city, and the president is there. What if I were the president? I can go and step down and tell them, you stop. If they don't stop, I will tell the National Army just to join them all, because when they are shooting each other with guns, nothing is remaining. You can use gun to control them. That is the view. We don't encourage the extrajudicial killing or summary execution, but the government has power to make sure that the law is accepted, and you use all means necessary, reasonable force to make sure that citizens live in peace. All this is why I was talking last time, and you had like that. We need elections so that we get our leaders, and the election must be free, fair, and credible. We need youth to be employed, to get employment, because there are many opportunities. You get the hotels here, foreigners. Like now, the country is divided. We have Somalis who have captured petrol station, who have captured these businesses of land. They are the one renting out houses. You go in the house to rent the house, you pay dollars. Like now, those who are paying dollars are in trouble now, because every time the rate of the dollar rises, your charges will rise with that dollar. So we need to make sure that
Okay, so bear with me, guys. He's having a
with
network
that,
difficulty.
your yes,
Somebody's keep
people are
calling.
calling me. Let's keep
Yeah,
on.
please stop calling him. Call him later on when he's finished. He's still on there. I know people are calling you while they are listening.
I will
Watching.
call them.
Yeah, go ahead.
I no, I just cancel it when they are calling. I cancel it. I will call them back. So I was saying that we have nothing as citizen in the country. You come to Juba, the water business is being done by Ethiopian and Somalis. We don't have anything. You go around businesses, it is Somalis and people from Darfur who have captured it. You go to the business of land hotels, it is the same Ethiopian, and they are very hard on citizens. If you sleep there in their house and you miss even a day, you will be thrown out, even if you are a government official. So there is nothing like government, according to them. And to make the matter what they have gone into relation with security forces, generals. When you touch them and talk to them as you are a citizen, you have your right to claim. You get the general coming in to protect them, and even the water tank. Last time, a certain incident happened in 7 days, where you get this Ethiopian has knocked down a citizen who was in a university. After knocking this citizen down, that student was alive, and then he reversed and decided to finish off the boy because he believed that it is cheaper to compensate a dead life than to take care of somebody in hospital. That is the belief. So there was a one man from Barakazal who was watching, a soldier. So he was annoyed and he opened a fire on this man and killed him on the spot. He was taken to police. And then this man was later set free, he was provoked. And then the relatives of the deceased took control to take care of the issue of the situation, and they went to court. So what I'm saying is, we citizens, the president must do radical approach. We are not employed. The youth are not employed, not because there are no opportunities, but the opportunities are misallocated. You go to Nilepet, you get all the business sectors. I mean, the departments where people can be employed, they are being taken over by even some people who are not.
Yeah, people are keep calling him. That's why you guys see on the
qualified
screen.
to be in those positions because they have some people in the government. We need this job opportunity. The parliament was supposed the public service committee in the parliament is supposed to call all the records across the country to bring them and sit down and say we must look at the qualification, and then calls all the application across the country and then look at the qualification. When it is matching with with a certain job which was allocated wrongly, you call that person and come, and then you give test, because also we have that problem of forging the certificates. So we have to go practically to give these people tests so that they get it. You get central bank. Central bank, I was there one day. When I was in central bank, I got people who are employed in central bank were playing with the cards on computers. How can you play with the cards in such as a place where you have to sit down to come up with the policies individually, and then you give it to governor of central bank or your department to go and develop it and present it? That is how you work in the government. Government, you are not supervised. You come up with the policies, even if you are alone, to make sure that the country run. You get all oil sector is occupied by one region. Even if those people in that area working in those sectors are not qualified, they are there because they belong to a certain region. We must correct all these things, because youth who are sitting under a tree or under trees since independence up to now, they have been told that you wait, your time will come. But they have found themselves already with gray hair. They don't have anywhere to go and nobody is supporting them. The system must be established to support these youth. This is the policy, and this is the reason I was going to. I was not coming to the parliament to get money. I would have been rich, but I came to the parliament to make sure that I have a platform where I speak and give a credit to the party that appointed me, because that is why I'm grateful to IO, and everybody will go, and I will not go. I will remain in IO to fight. That is
Yeah,
where I have got an opportunity.
thank you. Thank you, Honorable Juol Nhomngek. Thank you for wonderful speak. Let me follow up with your question. Yeah, you talk about the election, and you press yourself that yes, election is a good thing, have to take place. Well, my question, follow-up question regarding by election and the position of SPLM-IO. As the members of parliament, do you believe that the election will take place in December this year? If so, what is the position of SPLM-IO and your chairman, Dr. Nhomngek? Thank you.
Okay, with the members of parliament, in the parliament, we comes from 5 parties to the agreement. 5 parties. There are some members from another party like the SPLM-IO. They will never talk openly. Even if they disagree with that position, even if they agree that the election should not go on, they will not talk. It's a red line. They can be revoked. So you don't know their position, but our position is very clear. We are supporting the position of the SPLM-IO. Why we support? We are not saying there should be no election. We are saying there should be elections when the conditions necessary for elections are met. And I have already talked about it. One of the conditions is that there must be permanent constitution. Now, if we hold election now under this constitution, we shall still have transitional constitution. And then what have we achieved? We need a permanent constitution. After all, Honorable McQuinlan was talking that this parliament does not have power to make the constitution. But what Honorable McQuinlan did not understand is that even if the parliament is elected, they don't have power to make constitution. The constitution is made by citizens. And then the parliament will adopt the constitution only. They will not change the views of the citizen. So whether it is the elected parliament or this, the constitution will be made by citizens. And that is why we talk of 5 stages of constitution making process. We have the National Constitution Review Commission, which is in place now. This body will survey and collect the views and come and analyze it, and it is now put into draft constitution by a certain body called CDC. That body is Constitutional Drafting Committee. That is CDC, will draft the views. After they have been collected, all views will be collected across the country from all the citizens, including abroad. After they have collected these views, they will be put into drafting. After they are put into a draft constitution, now there is another committee which will prepare for National Constitution Conference. This National Constitution Conference will bring all citizens across South Sudan, including abroad. 1,500 citizens will gather to make sure that the constitution is drafted. What they will agree, including chiefs at home, including the community, they will bring their representative. What they will agree, the current parliament now will endorse it without interfering with it, and then it will be signed by the president. So parliament will not have power. That is why we cannot hold the election without having the constitution. That is one. 2, we cannot hold the election without having the security arrangement, as I have already talked about it. Everywhere there is insecurity. And that is why even the refugees in Sudan, where we don't have even a peaceful Sudan now, they are preferring Sudan to South Sudan because they said security in Sudan is better than what is in South Sudan. And I have already said, it is the Undersecretary of Relief and Rehabilitation Commission who was saying it, that the citizens of South Sudan who are refugees in Sudan are refusing to come to Sudan. They are at the ring at the border. They wanted to go back to Sudan. That is one. Citizens in Uganda, many of them are there. They are not coming because of security. Because in South Sudan, it is only Juba which is peaceful. And it is only people who are protected, like leaders who are peaceful. But the citizens are surviving at their own because we don't have a unified security in the country. So for us to have election, there must be one security and one national security, one national army, and one police, so that the security is in their hands. And we need a national security reform. You have seen national security is abusing its powers, like arresting people without warrant, contrary to the constitution. Constitution itself is the supreme law, and it's saying that any law which is inconsistent with it is void. And National Security Act of 2014 is void because it was passed under threat in 2014 with the aim that we need to control some people who are against the government. But now we are in one government. We need security, which is like national security has 3 roles only. One, it has collection of information. 2, it have analysis. They have to analyze the information. After analyzing it, will be able to discover is the Is the problem a pure crime, or is it a national security threat? And then they refer the matter to a relevant authority, which is dealing with the given items. So in that case, we need to make sure there is a security reform, security sector reform, that is security arrangement, chapter 2. And then we need accountability in the finance management. Our constitution is giving different sources of income, of national income, but we are not able to account. We don't know how much do we get from gold. We don't know how much do we get from oil. We don't know how much do we get from custom and migration and passports. We don't know how much do we get locally, non-oil revenue. We don't know all, plus oil revenue. Let's summarize it. We don't know. We need accountability. Chapter 4 must be implemented so that we are accountable and make sure that citizens are able to know how much do we earn in this country. Why are civil servants, members of organized forces, plus government officials, including the parliament, are going for 7 months now without being paid? What is the problem? The issue is that we are not transparent. And since we are not transparent, there are some people in the government who are using finances as a tool to make sure that the parliament is weak and the citizens are weak to become beggars, so that we follow them and they steal as much as they can. That is why they are not interested even in improving on the welfare of the citizens. And this is why we are struggling. And that was one of the reasons I was suspended. I was asking a speaker. Speaker, I asked her when I was suspended that I have defamed her. I asked her that if you don't want to increase the money for public servants, and we have been crying, is it a policy, your policy, not to increase? That was taken later to be a defamation. And I don't know what kind of defamation, which is an inquiry.
Right.
So all this have been the problem. So we cannot hold elections without having implemented the agreement in totality. We must have peace at home. We must have disarmament, comprehensive one, so that citizens are able to interact freely and to vote. There should be no issue of land grabbing.
Yeah, the argument of SPLM IG argument regarding by election, they're saying that you talk about the permanent constitution. The SPLM is saying that we will use a constitution that used in 2010 during the election between Juba and Khartoum. Okay, they will use that for this coming election. And also in SPLM-IO, we are hearing some of the voice in your member in your party saying that some of the member of SPLM are not supporting elections get place. They are supporting extension. And before that, some of the voices in your political party that are saying there's no extension, there's no election. So what is SPLM-IO want if there's no extension and there's no election? What does SPLM-IO want? Second, yes, some of the voices in your party that are saying that they need 2 years extension. So my question to you, Honorable Juol Nhomngek, is it IO don't want election to take place? They want the current government, to give the country extension by extension. So what is it? Some of the voices in the South Sudanese community or in back home that said the SPLM is simple. They don't want elections. Simple. When the election takes place, they will lose. You guys will lose the seat in parliament, and the government will be reduced to one vice president and one president. So what are your position for all of these things that people are saying and go toward the IO? And so all one that I will give 2-3 minutes, and I have 2 people here to have a question to ask for you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You have 2 questions now, is it? One is that we don't need election,
yeah,
and we don't need extension. What is the rationale?
Yeah.
That is one. Second, that the members of SPLM-IO will lose, or the SPLM-IO will lose if they go for election. And
Right.
then that is why there is a move that we should have one vice president and one president. That SPLM-IO is fearing of election in a simple term.
Correct.
First, to begin with your question, we are not interested in the extension, or we are not interested in election now, not because we are just being upset, we need to make it clear that we are saying that we need those those prerequisites for free, fair, and credible and peaceful election to be in place. Even if they are in place today, we can go on. That is why we are saying it is up to the parties now to agree. That is why we have dialogue. How are we going to deal with these issues? As long as we meet them, we can go. Even if we say it is only this year, we can go. We can still go if they are finished. But I'm not sure, like now, census, the body that is in charge of census, that commission, is saying that they need 16 months to finish the census. 16 months. And at the same time, there are all resources. The resources are being used for politics. Like now, you get the political parties council coming from nowhere that they have the budget, and the parliament has not passed the budget. How do we operate? How safe are we even in the election without votes being votes? Because the SPLM-IG has kept money somewhere. They are using it as a tool. Now they are using politics with it by offending the other party without the knowledge of the parties to the agreement. The reason we talk like that, we need everybody to vote. We don't need the scenario of 2010 where we are voting for the star or quill in our language, quill. And then we're voting for a referendum that you vote for SPLM because it will take you to the independence. We don't need that. What the citizens have agreed now, and I will forward to you a song, they are saying they will vote the leaders, they will not vote for the parties. So the SPLM-IG itself wanted to confusion now to come in and to use force, because other areas the SPLM-IO does not go because of control. They don't speak. They are there, but they are hiding. And then also they need to use that confusion to come in. So our contention is that we are not fearing. We are not fearing elections. We are even interested, because if we lose the election fairly, we will not see us talking. But IO is also upholding the public interest. There is what we call the best interest of the country. The best interest of the country is not what citizens want, is what is good for them when they do it. What is good for them, they will never know it. They will only get it when we have done it and it is good. Like independent of South Sudan, Garang was fighting when he was saying that we cannot talk of separation from the south. We cannot be supported. Separation from the north. We cannot be supported even by Ethiopia. What was the best interest of Sudan? Best interest of Sudan was of South Sudan was independence. But we will not be able to achieve it unless we fight of the government of unity.
Okay, so it's pros again. Let's wait a little second.
Best interest. Like, let's go to somebody was calling. Later, people will
Yeah.
do what? People will regret. Like in 2010, it is the same as PLA or SPLM generals, SPLA generals who contested as independent, and then later they took up arms. And there is a probability that many generals of the SPLA, because SPLM-IG, as you see, is not a fair party where you can go and lose the primaries freely. They will find a way to block you out by all means. So anybody who feels that his or her rights was not determined during political rights, what will happen is that they will go as independent. And if they lose the election in an unfair way, what will happen? IO will even be far. And then the citizen will suffer, because the generals, some general will go like that. Now we don't have control over the army. Every generals have its own group that agree with them to give them protection, because don't have, everybody is deploying their own citizens, their own relatives. These people, if you direct them, they will do it the way you want it. So you can prepare yourself as a general and you go. And it is majority will be general from the SPLM-IG, because IO has control over its members and it's free. It's free. So its members will listen to them. And when they come to primaries and they lose fairly, they will not even go to war again or stand as independent. So the problem is the best interest for this country to implement the prerequisites for free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections. And this one, because we don't need to come back to government of national unity. That is why we need permanent constitution to guide us, to tell us the terms and conditions for elections. because this electoral commission, this election act, which was passed in 2023, has to be amended according to the permanent constitution, because there will be new issues in permanent constitution which this law must conform to it. So we are not rejecting. We need only the prerequisites for free, fair, and equitable election to be implemented for us to go. We are not rejecting election, and we cannot accept the extension unless there is a guarantee agreed by all the parties, because we don't need the scenario of roadmap where the government went with the opposition plus or parties to the agreement, went to the extension, and there was nothing done. We don't need that scenario. That is why we say we don't need extension. If the parties agreed and there is a third party which will be checking us, we can go to extension. We have never proposed, and we rejected it last time. Last time, the chairman of the SPLM-IO, when the statement was made, he calculated the period that is needed for each task to be performed. And then he was mentioning it that the roadmap was supposed to take 2 years. It is that 2 years which was later taken by media to be the position of the SPLM-IO. We clarified it later. It was not our position. Our position must be determined by the parties to the agreement. And our condition is only that we need the free, fair, and equitable elections. And those conditions are provided in the agreement. Agreement must be implemented and will not have problems. So we are not proposing any period. We need citizens to choose freely. That is our condition.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable
At the same time, let me add, at the same time, Chairman is now, let us make it clear, Chairman does not have intention to go back to the SPLM-IG, does not have intention of reunification. This even we are going to make a statement on that. It has been used
some of your IO members are arguing that they are supporting unification of SPLM.
Yes, okay, sorry, this one is going off. Like SPLM-IO is a free party, democratic party, where people are free to express their opinion. But when we go to sitting, we shall determine it freely. If majority are saying, then we will go. But majority are saying they are not going. It's only those people, those individuals, few who are interested, but all of us are not interested.
What about your chairman?
The chairman has told us also today that he is not interested.
Okay.
And we are going to make a statement.
Okay, so before I have two gentlemen here in the club. I want to ask you one question. Before I do that, there's a question that I always chasing after you, because I've seen last year the case between you and the Speaker of the House. So you open a case at East Africa Court. So can you tell us what is going on with that? Is your case? You were last year. You've been suspended from the Parliament, and you open a case. So what is going on? Can you? South Sudanese are they're asking you what's going on with that case now. Is it dropped? You dropped the case, yet you and Speaker of Parliament come to the agreement, and what is the reason all behind this? So can you give us an update for that? Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I filed a case last year when I was suspended illegally, because according to the law says that when a member of parliament is accused of defamation, it is the House to approve. Because what I was asking were questions. So the questions were later turned into defamation. I was making an inquiry, and the Speaker said he was defamed. Instead of taking this one to the House, he decided to write a suspension letter without taking it to the Parliament for approval. So I took the case to East Africa. The case up to now is there. If anybody is interested, you can go to East African website and dial my name there on his screen, Honorable Juol Nhomngek, or you go to Google and say Honorable Juol Nhomngek, it will come East African Court, the pending cases. If you go to the website, you will get pending cases. And my case is number 26 of 2023. Honorable Juol Nhomngek versus Attorney General of the Republic of South Sudan, and he's talking about the Speaker. The case is not dropped. The case is important for the law of South Sudan. It will lay a position of law in the Parliament. How What is the implication if the speaker takes a wrong decision without approval of the House? It means the court can punish you. So the case is not dropped. The problem is the court has to take its own time to make sure, because the rule in court is that the first come, first serve. So there were some cases before me we were filed even in 2021. They have been solved. Now my case is online to be decided. And East African Court always sits twice a year. So it sits twice a year. It has 2 sessions only. One session and then another one, 2 per year. So that case will be decided in due course. It's not dropped because it's not my nature. I'm not interested to drop it because I've not gone into agreement with the speaker. The speaker suspended me. When she became tired, she lifted the suspension after seeing me that I was not scared. Because I'm not interested even in the money, in what I'm interested in doing work. We have come to Parliament to work. If you are suspended, you are suspending doing work. And we have to work, and we should not lie, because we cannot lie. In our language, they say we speak Gok, Ogajiam Gok. Ogajiam Gok, you tell the black is black and white is white. You don't go around. So the case is still in East Africa, so let them be aware.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, let me give this chance to the people in Clubhouse to ask your question. There's one of the gentlemen, his name is Juol Nhomngok. I think you know him. He's one of from next state.
I know.
So he have a question. So Juol Nhomngok, you can hear my voice. Go ahead and answer.
Yes, thank you, Comrade Majid. I greet you, Honorable Juol Nhomngek, and
Welcome.
You giving yourself a time to come and interact with us here in social media, both in the Clubhouse as well as in YouTube and Lagos State media. Thank you for that. A lot of government officials don't want to interact with us online. I don't know why people shy away, but we really have a lot of questions to ask. Question number one, Comrade Juol, are you a member of any parliamentary committee or ad hoc or a standing committee of any sort? And if so, which one is it? And what have you guys? What tasks were you guys assigned to do? And if you are a member of any committee, then what was your job, or what bills have you guys brought? What motion have you drafted to be passed? You have come here and you spoke a lot, and you sound like you were complaining as if you were just average citizen, and that kind of depressed us here, because you're a leader. We expected you to come to us here and tell us, hey, I drafted this motion, I drafted this bill with an intent to stop this and this and this and this and this. But when you come to complain just as we are, then we wonder who else would be our leader in our country. Second question, the road to Bar al Ghazal. This road here have nothing to do with whether you are IO or IG. What is this? Why are you all silent? This is something that's supposed to unite all the parliamentarians from Bar al Ghazal state. But it doesn't look like somebody is saying anything about it. We have been promised the road since 2020, and 2021 we saw some activities going on, and the road had been around Terekeka ever since, and there's no explanation why the road don't move beyond Terekeka. What's going on here? And nobody is saying anything about it. My last question is with regard to security. I'm happy that you're aware of what happened in Eastern Yorul or Yorul East a few days ago. And in spite of all of this, we have not seen any activities by all of you members of Parliament coming from Lagos State. All of you have not said anything, except you coming now into social media and kind of complain about it. But is that the quality of a leadership? When the people are being killed, I had expected MPs from Lagos State to get energized, get around, move around, make a noise until we can see it here in diaspora. But it looks like our people just got killed and it was business as usual. Then who are you really representing there? I'll stop there and let others ask their question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brother Juol Nhomngek. Let's go back to Honorable Juol Nhomngek. Go ahead and answer well before I move to the next. persons here. Go ahead. Oh, okay. He's dropped out, guys. So let's wait until he come back. So we have, I think his network dropped him out, or maybe his phone is out. But let me check. Hold on, guys. So.
Madid Selman want to come up, check in the chat.
Oh, okay. So let me open the hand raise, guys. So we have this interview. I just want to do like a limited because of the network in Juba with that. Okay, he's coming back, and we have same issues of Honorable Juol Nhomngek is still. Can you connect your device with your camera? It's not connected. It's doing the same thing. Bear with me, guys. So let.
Jilo woni tonadol toni nyel DJ Dingarang jagda lo diana bapi Adina majaga jideng makwaga oton para iye manuni ya kudimit pandani ya ayi toni tuol kutunga toni adina majaga anyar ke begwan ba jit sukula yi gabi na jong jilo ane baje ayi pingi kiyelo adina majaga jideng makwaga oton para iye manuni ya kudimit pandani ya ayi toni tuol kutunga toni adina majaga anyar ke begwan ba jit sukula yi gabi na jong jilo ane baje ayi pingi kiyelo adina majaga jideng makwaga oton para iye manuni ya kudimit pandani ya ayi toni tuol kutunga toni adina majaga anyar ke begwan ba jit sukula yi gabi na jong jilo ane baje ayi pingi kiyelo Pagabala kubila pingi ban pingira den paniri junu ayoro matul anmadin majak kemati injina teto kutia injiwa ayora jema mana julo
We're still having a connection problem with Honorable Juol Nhomngek. Try, yeah, this has been experienced. Let's wait for a little bit, guys. So bear with me. So for those of you in Clubhouse, welcome, Tak, and welcome Manu, welcome Ton Anyar, Salman Donra, and Samuel. Welcome, guys. So if you guys want to continue it while I'm waiting for Honorable Juol Nhomngek, I can give you guys a floor to speak. So what your analysis and your input about the all, let me recognize Salman Donra, who's one of the members of SPLM-IO, and also too is here to also to with his colleague Honorable Juol Nhomngek. So we're having a network issues over there. Probably that will give us we have been having issues since morning. The show supposed to start like 9 o'clock, but according to the network issue and connection was a problem. So let me get back to you. Atab, do you want to say something? Or Salman Donra, do you want to say something because you are a member of SPLM-IO?
I'm not a member of SPLM-IO.
No, Salman, I'm talking about Salman. Salman. Salman, are you there?
I think it's far away.
Okay, so yeah, so Atabi, you can go ahead if you want to say something.
Yeah, no problem. Ben Medita, Shukran, and all the speakers, and of course the honorable member of Parliament. It's good for him to come here and talk to South Sudanese. That's really good. We appreciate Eagle Media and him as well. It's a tenable internet issue in South Sudan and maybe the electricity problem. But the biggest thing, I feel like SPLM-IO is setting conditions that are going to be impossible to meet for the government. And I think although they say that they won elections, the conditions they're setting are impossible to meet. And you can see, and it's hard to even ask questions on this because there's so many things that need to be addressed. Like census, for example, there seem to be IO feels like the people who are outside the country, they are the voters. They're going to come to the country and they're going to vote for SPLM-IO. And this is why they're making it near impossible to have elections without these people coming to the country. And I think it is unfair to tell these people to come back to the country when the insecurity is so high. And also South Sudan elections are not mandatory. If they miss one election, it's not the end of the world. And IO makes it another opposition in the government and outside the government. They make it feel like this has been a referendum. And even I don't even understand what referendum is actually. I don't think they understand that. Because they say, okay, we need a constitution, permanent constitution. But the people who are going to be writing the permanent constitution are not elected by the people of South Sudan. And the people of South Sudan are not going to vote in that referendum for the changes or to adapt that constitution. They don't understand these things actually at all. So I think it is a problem. And also the census, like if you look at the US, in 2020, only 66% of actually voted in 2020, right? So you can never have a 100% voted. And even the idea he spoke about, like that, in his village or somewhere near Boer Town, in 2010, the people were registered that they reside in Boer Town rather than their villages. But that's how census works. It's based on where you live. It's not based on where you actually born. Because if you think about it, if 14,000 people in your village all move to the city, right? The services cannot be delivered in the village. It just cannot. If no one lives there, the services cannot be delivered there, really, in all honesty. Because where they are is where the services are being demanded. Also, like, Parliament, and I'm sure the Honorable Minister or member will listen to this. Parliament can take a law that require foreigners because right now we have a law in South Sudan that require foreigners to give 30% of their business to South Sudanese nationals, right? And then the 30% is being taken by generals. That's what's happening. And it's all great to say, the generals are in control and these hotels, blah, blah, blah. But the generals are, by law, they are partnering with these foreigners in hotels and business in South Sudan. It's a cartel. It's a cartel of these generals don't invest in the business. They demand monthly income from the businesses. And again, the parliament can solve that problem. That member of parliament can write a law in parliament and make this change. And lastly, in terms of the employment of young people, we don't need platform to speak. I think Lake State Media and South Sudan Eagle Media are doing enough to accommodate young people. I'm a young person, I think. But in South Sudan, young people need jobs. Young people need jobs. And even it starts from even government jobs. How many government jobs are being given to South Sudanese young people? I went to South Sudan in 2022. In one all of the workers who were doing road construction in WOW were all Somalis. There was not a single South Sudanese. And the road construction they were doing was dumping sand onto the road. They would go and get red sand, dump it on the road.